The HoneyDew with Ryan Sickler.
Welcome back to the HoneyDew, y'all. We're over here doing it in the Night Pants Studios. I'm Ryan Sickler, RyanSickler.com, Ryan Sickler on all your social media. And I'm starting this episode like I start them all by saying thank you. Thank you for supporting not only this show, anything I do. I genuinely appreciate you guys. You're the best fans in comedy. If you got to have more, then you got to have the Patreon. It's called the HoneyDew with y'all. And it's this show with y'all. And y'all have the wildest stories I've ever heard in my life. $5 a month, it's worth a cup of coffee, all right? If you or someone you know has a story that has to be heard, please submit it to honeydewpodcast@gmail.com. All right, that's the biz. You know what we do here. We highlight the lowlights, and I always say that these are the stories behind the storytellers. I'm very excited to have this guest on with me, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome the God of Thunder, Gene Simmons. Welcome to the HoneyDew, Gene Simmons.
Thank you for giving me the clap.
You're welcome.
See what I did there.
Look, obviously, I'm a massive fan and I'm giddy about this. But before I get into any of my nonsense, please promote anything you'd like.
Okay. You want me to talk about Satan?
Whatever you want.
It's not going to happen. Just because you worship that son of a bitch does not make... See, the soundbite's got to be you. I've had enough of that stuff.
We'll get there.
I really don't care.
Social media, books, tour.
Well, we have books, social media. Pop House bought Kiss, big company. They're very...
What do you mean bought Kiss? Bought the name, the brand?
The makeup and the catalog.
Wow.
Yes, about a year and a half ago. So there are plays and cartoon shows. There's a movie that's being cast right now. A guy named McG, MC, who's done lots of big
I know
stuff.
who McG is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's in the casting stage now. And there's going to be a Kiss Avatar show, which is tough to describe, so we'll just let it happen when it happens. And lots of new, tons of toys and games and stuff like that.
I love it. It's been going for...
Matter of fact, over the years, literally thousands of licensed products. People have stopped complaining. When you first started doing stuff, they said, what about credibility? You don't even know how to spell that word. Since when do people who never learned how to read or write music worry about credibility? What are you talking about? Last week you were, selling crack on the corner. This week you're talking about credibility. Artists don't do that. Artist, you taught yourself how to strum guitar, and you don't have no qualification for even saying the word artist. So they finally stopped because the Kiss juggernaut rules. And over the years, we've done everything from Kiss condoms to Kiss caskets.
Yeah.
We'll get you coming and we'll get you going.
I love it, dude.
But that's fact, by the way.
I know it is.
Yeah.
I know it is. And doesn't the casket double as a cooler up until you need to use it? Does it not?
It does. There are bars all across the country that have bought it.
Is that right?
Yeah, as a centerpiece, and they fill it with ice and everything in the drinks. You want something, and yeah.
Man,
why wait until you're dead to use something?
Keep your beers cold, then keep you cold.
As a matter of fact, sadly, Dimebag Darrell from Pantera, one of his last wish and testaments were to be buried in a Kiss casket.
Is that right?
I sent him one of mine, yeah. No joke.
Wow.
He had Ace tattooed on his chest and everything. Yeah. Sadly, how he passed is there was a former Marine who, out of his mind, stepped up on a club on a stage and just shot him in the head.
Oh, I didn't know I knew how he died, but I didn't know the history of the guy. He was
Sadly,
he was mentally ill or PTSD or
well,
nuts.
In either case, I would kill the son of a bitch. I'm not a. You don't want to make me the judge of anything because I think we've got a pussy justice system.
Well, you've been on stage for, 60 years or more? 70?
Not 60, but since 1804.
Have you been attacked ever like that? with a weapon. Anybody ever come up with a weapon?
I'm a decent sized guy.
Yeah, so I'm saying they got to be crazy to come up. You're blowing fire and
it's
everything.
but usually people who pick fights or bully even when you're drunk, you tend to pick on people smaller. So I've never really been picked on. What happened with your dog today?
Yeah, man. So
why don't you tell them?
Gene came in and Princess was barking like she likes to do if you're coming in her spot. And Gene said, "You know what takes care of this? Watch this." And he said, "Who?" And that's all he did. She yelped, backed up. She went in. He walked in, put his hand out, started kissing him. He leaned down, started kissing him, lifted her chin up, started tickling her. Best friends.
All everybody wants to know is what are the rules? What's the pecking order? Because we're all pack animals, human beings, dogs. I mean, they react to the same thing. We just want to know what the rules are. Where do we stand in the hierarchy? And you notice I'm about to turn 76, and my hand does not shake.
It doesn't. And you've been playing bass
That's
forever,
called
too.
No drugs, no booze, and no cigarettes ever.
None.
Try running a car. Put some sand or crap in your fuel. It's not going to run very well. So, by the way, I'm not here to shake my finger at anybody and say, do what I do. No. You've got a menu in life. You're welcome to pick what you want from it. It's my personal choice.
Well, I want to get into this with you, but before I do, I want to say when I first met you, you were so great. You came to the stand-up show. You came to the re-up with your son, Nick, who's done. Watch his episode. It was great.
By the way, Nick and Evan Stanley, Paul Stanley's son, now have this band. They both have their own musical thing. Nick's music's been on Ozark, the 2-hour special, and what was the other one? Prodigal Son, lots of stuff. And Evan's a really accomplished guitar player and writer in his own right. And they've been pals since they were little amoebas. And they got together, started strumming, and they sort of...
I follow them. I love it.
The voices just melt.
So we're watching it as they sort of do it together then.
Yes.
Okay.
The material is coming fast.
That's great.
And you can describe it as kind of Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Simon Garfunkel. Real melody, acoustic guitars, really good stuff. But you can't... there are tones that just work with other tones, voices. So if Jagger joined the Beatles and tried to sing harmony with John and Paul, it wouldn't work. Mm-hmm. The tonality just doesn't work. And so there's something very special about the Beatles, not just because they all came from a small town, had no resume, no experience, no everything. When they sang harmony, you just go, there's that sound. Really something.
Yeah.
And Nick and Evan have that.
Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised. I was telling a friend this morning, like he's playing with Paul Stanley's son, and they're actually really good. But you came in, you said, I'll never forget, because I'm meeting you for the first time, you're a good-looking, funny man. And I said...
I think I may have said, you're a powerful and attractive man.
Thank you. Even better. Right. Even better, brother.
I may have said you may be popular in jail.
You pumped my tires, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And all I could say, and I told my brothers, was I was you for Halloween 2 years in a row. Yeah.
I was me also.
Even then, we had the Halloween costume, the one that was flammable,
We stopped. That's exactly right.
And the mask with the rubber band. What?
We stopped making it because in those days, the fire department was asleep at the wheel. You can, here, kid. Yeah. By the way, you're 5 years old? Put this on. Don't smoke because it'll go up. Yeah.
Well, my brother and I would trade off and be you because my mom wasn't buying it. Yeah, they were flammable,
and they would melt onto your skin because it was plastic.
I didn't think about that. The plastic.
You burn them.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And then I told you a quick story that
farm animals.
I'm a twin, fraternal twin. I got the looks.
That's why you're fucked up.
And and this is March of 79.
Tell me the truth. Which one of you has the bigger schmeckle?
You know what? I'll be honest. I really don't know. I'll ask them.
Well, you saw each other naked.
Yeah, but I don't remember. It's been years.
I mean, when mom's not looking.
It's been years, dude. I really don't know. I'm no shame in my game. I'll ask them.
What's his name?
Girth and Derek.
Derek?
I get the Destroyer Kiss remote control van that you would probably marketed out there. It's an early one, you know.
They don't know what that is.
I recently looked on the other podcast, the Wayback, for one online. People are asking for up to $5,000 for those. I don't know if you know that. And my brother sees that I got it, and he's pissed that he didn't. He takes it out. He goes out in our driveway. He drives this thing right out in the street, and a car runs over it and breaks it into pieces. I'm devastated.
So he didn't do it on purpose.
Oh, no, he did do it on purpose.
Why?
That's a good question. So I see him recently. I'm 7 probably at the time. This is 45 years later right now. And I see him and I finally get him on a podcast after podcasting for 15 years. And one of the first things he says to me is, you know what I remember? I go, what? He goes, that time you got that Kiss van. And I drove it out in the street and purposely had it run over by a car so you couldn't play with it. I said, yeah.
Why?
That's what I said. Why? He's like, I don't know. And I said, well, you know what? Here it is.
That's not an answer.
I want you to close that childhood wound for me and look right there at that camera and say, hey, Derek, fuck you.
Hey, Derek, fuck you. And remember to swallow, bitch.
Yeah. That's from the God of Thunder and your brother, Derek. Fuck you.
So
wound healed.
I don't know is the answer. What's the real answer?
I guess, we were both twins and we were competitive. And I guess he just was like, let's fucking go. And we were not the twins. Like, we've had the Sklar brothers on where they finish each other's sentences and they're always want to play together. We were always like, no, you're over there and I'm over here.
Cain and Abel didn't get along either.
We were not the...
So tell us the truth, because inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah.
So when the chicks came along, did you ever share?
Not intentionally.
Oh,
but
I'm sorry. I'm assuming you're straight. Okay, so when little boy...
Not intentionally, but let me tell you something. I found out after, not at the same time. Never had a threesome with my brother.
On one of yours.
But I found out later that, there's one or two.
If he's going to run over your Kiss truck, he's going to mount one of your chicks. The continuity and it makes sense.
Yeah, that pecking order
I'm going to run over your Kiss truck and I'm going to fuck one of your chicks.
Also, one of the things I wanted to show you too, I brought this.
Used condom? What is it?
This was a big deal for me. This is my friend Matt Schilling, who and I have been friends since before elementary school. We promised each other as kids, when you took the makeup off, if you ever put it back on, we would go see that show. And we would go see it in Madison Square Garden. I'm from Baltimore, so you guys announced Saturday, July 27th, 1996, that you're coming back in makeup for the first time after years, and you're going to Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. Ace and Peter got their act together for a while.
It was the original 4, and you come to the Garden. We didn't go to the Caps. He was living in New York. I'm in Baltimore. I pick his younger brother up. We drive up together in my 1990 Honda Civic with original rims. And that's the ticket stub right there. 311 opened for you guys on that show, which was
we had
different.
3 or 4 nights, and we had different bands.
Oh, each night was different?
Each night. We always gave new bands. New England was another band, and I think I'm pretty sure I'll think of the other one. But we always gave new bands. In fact, if you take a look at the list of the bands we gave their first tour on, AC/DC, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Bon Jovi, Motley Crue.
Did you
Rush.
do Ozzy or Black Sabbath?
No, we played with Sabbath originally when we were both trying to make some headway in 74. But these are first tours. Cheap Trick.
God.
I mentioned Bon Jovi, Motley, almost anybody, Scorpions, anybody we just liked. Besides being in a band, you're also fans. Oh, gee, I like that. Maybe the kids would like hearing that.
Yeah, that's that show. I saved this forever, man. This was wild.
Well, don't get rid of that.
I'm never getting rid of that. Never. This is going in the frame out there. But let's dial it back.
What is that little
what
skid mark on the corner of the ticket? What's that about?
Let's talk about...
Is that Hendrix in the corner?
That is Hendrix over there. That bust is... I'm a huge Hendrix fan, and Tom Segura...
Name some of the bands before Hendrix became... It was Jimmy James and the Flames.
Jimmy James and the Blue Flames.
It was James Brown and the Flames.
He also played for Little Richard.
He appeared... Go ahead.
Little Richard.
Yeah.
Isley Brothers.
True.
Gosh, he played on the whole Chitlin circuit too. Was his own guy for a while
Do
with all the
people know what
broken
Chitlin
teeth.
circuit is?
Chitlin circuit was the circuit where a lot of the black players came up and they were doing the teeth, and behind that's actually where
They did
he
everything.
learned how to do that,
That's
and then
exactly
took that
right.
to the mainstream.
More stuff was happening there that, white people just
Mm-hmm.
stand still. They tried to tell us we're too young. Chitlin circuit, all that stuff. Chitlin is an African-American dish, pig innards.
Mm-hmm.
Poor people eat the food that's available. And the Chitlin circus was all black in fire, hazardous kind of wooden cabins in the middle of nowhere. And people who worked hard,
Mm-hmm.
black folks who worked hard, would go there and see everybody, James Brown, Joe Tex, all that stuff.
Yeah, and he's playing with, I know he upstaged Little Richard a little bit. I read
Oh,
about
yeah.
all that stuff.
But he played with Richard.
Mhm.
I don't mean in the band. I mean, no. It's not what
Did you
I
ever
meant to
play with him? Did you ever
I knew
see him,
Richard,
Hendrix?
sure. Hendrix, no,
No.
never, unfortunately.
never cross paths?
No, sadly, no. He died at 27.
Yeah, very
in,
young.
In fact, I wrote a book called 27, the astonishing number of talented young people,
Let me see.
all
Hendrix,
27.
Joplin,
Jim Morrison,
Cobain, Morrison,
Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse. I mean, it goes
God.
all the way back to the Elephant Man.
Belushi. Was Belushi
Yeah.
27 also?
Just crazy.
It is crazy.
It's suspicious about that number.
That is a weird number. My dad died on November 27th. Now that you say it. How about that? Let's go back to the beginning. I really want to talk about, your arrival here and all that, because from what I've understood, your mom is a Holocaust survivor. She actually made it out, and I'd love to hear about that and what your dad did as well. Then you get here knowing no English or anything, and now look at you. So how does it all begin for Mom?
Well, my mother was 14, and the entire Klein family, my mother's side, were Jewish Europeans, Jewish Hungarians, and the entire family was taken into the concentration camps of Nazi Germany. What were you going to say?
I was going to say that's why you and Christina Pajitsky hit it off that night. Her family's Hungarian. You went and sat, and you guys had quite a conversation about that, and she mentioned it to me. She
Although
said, "Man,
I'm
he's
fluent in Hungarian and German.
That's what she was telling
few
me.
languages.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt.
She's
Yeah.
okay. I don't mean as a comedian.
Yeah,
That is interesting about that job. There's comedian and comedienne, the masculine, feminine, spelled a little differently. Did you know that?
I did know that. The
This
extra
is what
N
I'm
and
here
the
for,
E.
kids.
Yeah. Mhm.
And sadly, besides being tortured and starved, our whole family, I had no grandmothers, grandfathers, they were all first starved, tortured, beaten, and then eventually gassed.
Jesus.
And what can I say? The crazy thing about Germany, and I don't believe that there's such a thing as Hitler's children. You're born with a clean slate. So the modern Germans are very progressive and big supporters of Israel and all that. But in the 20th century, not too long ago, Germany decides to declare war on the world.
On the world.
Not against Italy. No, we want the world. And of course, it doesn't go well for them in the First World War. And then something like under 30 years, they decide to go to war again against the world. This is the most advanced country in Europe, technologically, mathematics, and so on. Freud, oh, that's right, he's Jewish too, came from Germany. The highest level of academia came from Germany in Europe. And there's you can't even say, they're barbarians, can't even want, nope. The most advanced technologically, they invented the ICBMs, the rocket. In fact, when America went in there quickly, they took Wernher von Braun, the rocket scientist, and he created the American space program. Those were all Nazi technology. In fact, Kiss played at the von Braun Civic Center in Alabama. The government gave him anything, awards and everything, just make our former Nazi. Yeah. Life is strange.
I just recently heard that, and I see so much stuff on the internet now, and I don't know what's true, but that's true, huh?
Yeah.
A former Nazi built our space.
We took their brightest.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
I mean, it's interesting. Instead of wiping them out, make them work for you.
Well, either you kill them,
Mm-hmm.
or the Russians get them, and that's what they're going to use them for.
Mm.
Or you may as well use their brain power. They were amazing. That there's still no explanation. I've read lots of theses. The thesis is one, and books and everything. There's no explaining why the most advanced country, by the way, a very young country. There was Prussia and Bavaria and all that. They didn't become a country until about 1860, 1870. Bismarck and all that, rule with an iron fist. He actually had an iron fist. Lost it. And yes, I used to teach sixth grade, bitches.
Yeah, I want to hear about that.
So within Germany, by 1917, they just became a country in 1860. By 1917, declare war against the world.
That's interesting. 1860, you said they became a country? So within the first 80 years, they were going against the world twice.
Not
even. 42.
40 years.
It's crazy. That is crazy. To go against the world.
They advanced so quickly technologically, and, they're.
So your mom, is she the last, or was she the last of that, your whole family? Going back years.
She finally passed at 94 years of age. And any wisdom I have, and I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I will work harder than the guy next to me, which is why I succeed more often. It's not who's smarter, it's who works harder. Perseverance isn't just a big word like gymnasium. The turtle actually won the race, not the rabbit. Do you know the turtle and the rabbit?
Turtle and the hare.
Sorry, the hare.
Yeah. Tortoise and the hare, actually. Yeah.
Tortoise, yeah.
Turtle and a rabbit.
The rest of us don't care. It's a fucking turtle and it's a rabbit.
Yeah. This is an ad by BetterHelp. These days, it feels like there's advice for everything. Cold plunges, gratitude journals, screen detoxes. But how do you know what actually works for you? With the internet and information overload about mental health and wellness, it can be a struggle to know what's true and what actions to take these days. Using trusted resources and talking to live therapists can get you personalized recommendations and help you break through the noise. We talk about the benefits of therapy on this show all the time. If you're someone who's just thinking of doing it, it's worth trying it out. Don't just get in the gym and work your muscles. Go work your mind too. All right. I promise you, in the long run, it's an absolute positive thing for you. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. And it works with an App Store rating of 4.9 out of 5 based on over 1.7 million client reviews. It's convenient too. You can join a session with a therapist at the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. Plus, switch therapist at any time. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/honeydew. That's BetterHelp.com/honeydew. What does feeling safe at home really mean to you? For me, I used to think it meant having good locks and maybe an alarm that would make a lot of noise if someone actually broke in, right? But I realized that true security takes more, like a system that works to prevent a break-in from ever happening in the first place. That's why I trust SimpliSafe to protect my home and family. SimpliSafe sent me one of their systems, and it's so easy to set up, you can do it yourself. You don't need to block out an afternoon for installations. Everything you need is shipped to your door with easy-to-follow instructions. AI-powered cameras plus live monitoring agents detect suspicious activity around your property. So if someone's lurking, agents talk to them in real time, turn on spotlights, and call the police, proactively deterring crime before it even starts. SimpliSafe is ranked #1 in customer service by Newsweek and USA Today. Monitoring plans start around $1 a day, no contracts, no hidden fees, and 60-day money-back guarantee. Visit SimpliSafe.com/honeydew to claim 50% off a new system with a professional monitoring plan and get your first month free. That's SimpliSafe.com/honeydew. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. Now, let's get back to the do.
And what can I say? We came to America. My mother raised me on her own. My father left us when I was about 6 years of age, and shamefully, it's not unique.
In America, he came as well, and then he
No,
left?
No, he never got to America.
Okay.
Both of them met in one of these camps that the Allies set up, where you feed and doctors and all that for the concentration camp survivors, and they couldn't feed them solid food because they would die like that. The digestive systems were starved to death, so you had to slowly, within a year, liquids and then slowly protein and so on. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. And they were all
The only way to learn that, too, is by a lot of people dying and eating right away. Jesus.
Just horrific. And they met, and my father was a very, very tall man who spoke strangely, because I hadn't seen him since I was sick. I found out he spoke through my half-brother and half-sisters, that he spoke 12 languages. I know it all sounds like, what are you talking about? Even though my father had never been to America, he spoke fluent English. The letters I got from him from Israel, even though I hadn't seen him since I was 6 years of age, were in perfect English.
He read and write in it. And
spoke Nigerian, Russian, Arabic, Hungarian, Turkish. I don't even remember all the other languages.
How?
I don't know. I mean, I can pick up when my mother and I were in Israel, my father left. I had a babysitter because my mother worked 6 days a week, 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. I was with a Turkish nanny who was just an older lady who lived next door, and with a German Shepherd and a muzzle to prevent it from biting everybody, because that's what it used to do. In fact, I still have the scar, because one day the German Shepherd decided, a Jewish snack. So I spoke, in my younger years, Turkish, Spanish, Hungarian, Hebrew. And then when we came to America, the Turkish and the Spanish sort of disappeared. I can still understand. I can curse Spanish like a sailor. I mean, but the language sort of went back there and learned German reasonably well, so I can get by and tell a girl she's beautiful. And also, if you don't tell her she's beautiful, she's not going to tell you where the bathroom is. So the first piece of advice, if you go to any other country, is learn how to say in their language, "You're beautiful," and then ask them where the bathroom is. Because if you don't tell them you're beautiful, they're not going to tell you where the bathroom is. Lesson 1. And you can pick up any language if you stop on day 1 speaking English. By the end of the day, you learn to say, "Where's the bathroom? I want water," stuff. You will learn it because necessity is the mother and so on. So I can, almost "Du es l'amour de ma vie," Spanish. "Yo de ziskulan, yo de se projevoch," that's Hungarian. "Anatava utskoshi," so des ne, Japanese. So
you speak fluent Japanese?
No. I wish I got
enough to get by.
You got to put in the time. Go to Japan, stop speaking English, and you will learn. It is a fascinating language because it's now written phonetically. So, for instance, if I say, "Watashi wa Gene Simmons desu," I'm telling you, my name is so-and-so. How do you think watashi wa is spelled?
Watashi wa? I mean, I would say W-A-T.
No, right. Watashi wa.
Water Shiwa.
W-A-S-H-I-W-A.
No.
Wata. I'm sorry, that's T. W-A-T-A.
Wata.
S-H. It sounds.
Watashi.
You, and then W-A. Watashi wa.
Watashi wa.
So say watashi wa.
Watashi wa.
And then your name.
Ryan.
And then just add D-E-S, des, at the end.
Des.
Not dis, des.
Des.
Yeah. So say the whole thing.
Watashi wa Ryan des.
Psycho des. So des ne. That's like psycho is perfect. And they do this. So you can say good morning. I'll teach you good morning in 1/10 of a second. Ohio.
Ohio.
The state of Ohio.
Yeah.
Say it.
Ohio.
Well, not Ohio like como está. Not like Americans do it. Just clip it. Ohio.
Ohio.
So des ne. Psycho des. That means perfect. Yeah. You just learned how to say good morning.
You also nailed a good Mid-Atlantic accent right there, too, man.
Mid-Atlantic is what they call it. Yeah.
Yeah, it is for sure.
And by the way, that's how I learned to speak English, by watching television and realizing that they're in New York, there are different sounds. You're going to the club tonight, like what's maricon? There's that sound of English. There's, yeah, man, like you ain't going to do nothing. There's that sound. My brother Bob was going to get to Long Island. There's that sound. But the guys on TV who were better dressed, read the news, spoke like this. So I wanted to speak like them.
Give me the language, or the order of the languages you learned them in.
You mean since childhood?
Yep, since childhood.
Hebrew, Hungarian, Turkish, Spanish, and then I forgot those. And then here it's Hebrew, Hungarian, English, German, and just a few Japanese
But English
phrases.
was down the list for you.
Well, yeah, it was the third language when we came here.
So you're learning by watching TV. You're not going to a class or anything like that. No one's teaching you.
Going to school.
And it's only in English. Everything in English in school for you right away. What the hell's that like? I can't imagine being day one in Japan and not. I wouldn't even know what the hell they're saying.
You learn quickly.
Yeah. And this is, what year is this? You're in elementary school? There's obviously no
1804.
internet. So it's a lot of gesturing, I'm guessing, and following what other people are doing.
When my mother and I came here, because she had two brothers, very successful. No. Jews who are successful? What? By the way, it's off the map. If you take a look at the peoples, religions, and so on, take a look at Jews. There's only 15.5 million Jews on the entire planet.
Is that right?
That's worth a pregnant pause. There are only about 6 million grown men between the ages of 18 and 35 who are Jews on the planet. The rest are women and children. It's pretty shocking. And yet, all the superheroes, all of them, Batman, Superman, the Fantastic Four, Thor, the Hulk, were all created by Jews.
Is that right?
All of them. Bob Kane is Bob Cohen. Bill Finger. Jack Kirby is Jacob Kurtzberg. Stan Lee is Stanley Lieber. Superman, Siegel and Schuster. They're all Jews. Dress British, think Yiddish. This idea of a secret, this alter ego, because Jews tried to assimilate. So me too. I made up my own name. So all these, strangely, and all of Hollywood, Warner Brothers, Paramount, Universal, all the studios were created and invented by Jews who could barely speak English. Literally. Goldfish became Goldwyn.
Oh,
he stole the win from Selwyn Brothers, and they sued him. He won. Metro Goldwyn Mayer. In fact, the largest financial institution are Goldman Sachs, both Jews. It's very strange. But pull up to a gas station, it's not in sight. Within 1,000 miles. You go to a construction site, hey, Moshe, send me your hammer. No Jews anywhere. Yeah. But if you want a lawyer or a doctor, or if you go to Wall Street, go play basketball, not one guy's named Ira.
Yeah.
Not one.
Yeah.
Can't dribble, but they own the teams.
Yeah.
You like the Patriots? Robert Kraft. Yeah, that name? Gee, it doesn't sound... Yeah, that's right. Dress British, think Yiddish. Change your name, assimilate. Don't lead.
That's the first time I've ever heard that.
Don't lead
British.
with the thing that makes people hate you.
Yeah.
Change your name. chop off your nose, do whatever it is that.
Who's the lady on the clip I've always seen when you're
The cliff?
The clip, it's an old talk show. You're dressed, you're in your demon wear, and the ladies, you're sitting next to these two old ladies, and she says to you, like, oh, I know you're Jewish. You can't hide that hook from anywhere. Who was that lady? She an old actress or something on the show?
No, Toady Fields was a famous comedian of the time. And I was on an afternoon talk show called The Mike Douglas Show, which was a variety show for, let's call it for what it is, the housewives that were at home cleaning. So they had everybody on there, comedians, and Lennon and Yoko Ono took over for a whole week. There was no such thing as afternoon variety shows except that show. And Toady Fields herself was obviously Jewish. Tony Curtis, Kirk Douglas, all these guys were hidden Jews. But what's this program turning into?
Well, I'm about to ask you this question. Did you ever have a conversation with your mother about where that will to not just survive, but to thrive comes from? Because this is a lady who, if I would have got out of or anyone would have made it through what she made it through, you'd think they'd be fine just living on a couch, watching a TV somewhere, but not your mom. Where does that come from?
Throughout history, well, you can hate him, like him, or whatever. Jews were called the people of the book. The literacy rate was much, much higher. You couldn't find a Jewish farmer anywhere. Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Moskowitz's farm. There's no such thing. Yeah. Jewish booze, laughable. It's like Manischewitz. It's like grape juice.
Yeah.
Two Jews are not going to say, hey, Moshe, let's go get a drink. It's just not part of the culture. Drinking doesn't, because it doesn't work. It makes you numb and you can't do stuff and you stop doing. So the way you survive is by going into places that don't try to kill you. And there are very few. Per the Bible, no such thing as the Old Testament, right? Before Jesus was born, also a Jew, before he was born, it was called the Bible. It's only once Christians, based on the Latin Christo, which means Messiah or King, Christ, Christo. That wasn't his name, by the way. Mom and Dad were not Mr. and Mrs. Christ. Right? Josephus Flavius, who was the scribe, the Jewish scribe who worked for the Romans, because he didn't want to be killed, was fluent in Latin and Hebrew and Aramaic, and he kept track of who paid taxes, who got crucified, who were the criminals, males only because women had no rights. Sure enough, there's a rabbi, which means teacher. It's not a religious denomination. There is no hierarchy. You kiss nobody's ring. Nobody can bless you. Nobody's got that power. It's a personal relationship. There is record in the Vatican, and you can look it up in Google and Schmoogle and all the other things that torture me by pressing a button. Rabbi Yesu ben Yosef, Rabbi Jesus, son, ben of Joseph. The reason you learn that he is Jesus Christ instead of Jesus ben Joseph is church doesn't want you to think of Jesus' last name as son of Joseph because he's supposed to be son of God. Yes. So Ben Joseph doesn't show up. I was a student of the New Testament and read the Quran and all the other stuff. I was a theology major, and it's fascinating what you can learn if you stick to the thing. So if you go to a church, as a Jew, if you got a banker, a lawyer, or anything, predominantly, especially in civil law. What do you mean? Middle America? Well, you know what I mean. Chicago, New York, and LA, they're Jews. Recently, big advances by our Eastern Indian brothers and sisters. Lots of new, very highly educated Indians from India because you make the effort, right? You don't put in the effort.
I think about it all the time. I see people here and I'm just like, I know me. I could never go to Vietnam. and open a business. Figure out all the legalities of this and the tax and the da-da-da-da-da-da, learn the language and everything. I'm like, it's an incredible undertaking to go to another country where you don't speak a language.
Well, survival is a great impetus.
But I'm saying some people, like what I want to get back to about your mom, some people are fine just surviving. Your mom wanted to thrive.
Yeah,
Why?
Because the more you thrive, the more armor you have around you that they can't, racist America.
I mean, you're seeing a woman who's, and your family as well, but obviously her family literally wiped out, and she's still wanting to climb and climb.
Success gives you money, and success gives you position, despite the fact that in some areas in America, racism is alive and well on a high level. So I used to live with Diana Ross, who was a terrific, amazing woman. Now, she told me stories when the Supremes, they were number one, above the Beatles that year. They had 6 number one hits off of the first album.
Wow.
Off of the first album.
That's crazy.
Baby Love, Stop in the Name of Love, and Can't Hurry Love, all that from like the first 6 songs. Bang. So they were doing a tour, 1964, I believe, of the southern states in America. Dave Clark 5, who were bigger than the Beatles that year, were opening for the Supremes. And they're traveling in those days by bus. And they do the show, and the Supremes come on, and it's an integrated show where usually they're separated. Black folks here, white folks there. During that show, they were all mixed up, which was headlines, and the Supremes could not stay in the hotel. They'd have to stay in the colored hotel even then. And on the way outside, on the way out of town with the tour bus, there were bullet holes in the tour bus.
Damn.
This is 1964, not in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So despite the fact that there was racism overt, they didn't hide it in the States. When Diana went to almost anywhere, once she had fame and fortune and all that, the doors open up. If you're not famous, and you don't, especially if you don't have the money, the doors close. And I want to say this as a historical fact. When we say the word ghetto, I'm from the ghetto. That's a Jewish term. It's not a black term. And I'll tell you the history. In the Renaissance in Europe, the trading started to go really well. Marco Polo came back from China, introduced spaghetti to the Italians. They had never heard of spaghetti. That's a Chinese dish, including gunpowder and all that came from China.
I know that, but I didn't know spaghetti.
The postal system.
How the hell are you eating spaghetti with chopsticks like that?
I still don't like chopsticks.
Yeah,
but they did it. A lot of those things didn't come from Italy, but they made it great for what it is. Pasta. It's fucking Chinese. So once the trade routes opened up and everything, different cultures talked with each other. So the church made a law. Never a lender or a borrower be. You couldn't charge interest. If you loan somebody money, don't charge them interest. Mm-hmm. And you have to be closed on Sunday because the Romans said it's the worship of the sun god, Sunday. The Sabbath was always Saturday. But the Romans, once they got a hold of Christianity and made Caesar the first pope, the Vatican is in Italy, the same city that used to throw Christians to the lions, same place. So the Jews tried to survive because everybody tried to kill them along the way. They were not in politics, not allowed. Couldn't get into masonry. You couldn't build. You couldn't get into positions of power. They made enormous amounts of money as being tradespeople and banks. Because they started to do well in trading with people, they amassed money. And then they started to loan people money, which became banks, which became the international banking system invented by Jews. The Rothschilds were a family with different members of the family throughout Europe, and you couldn't start a war without going to the Jews to get the money. which is why the first thing Hitler did was to take over the banks in Germany, because they were all Jewish owned. Going back, so the Jews because they came from Judea, see, or the Hebrews because they came from Hebron. That's very pragmatic. So Jews made a lot of money, and you'd think they'd be able to live in Rome and Florence and so on. Nope. The only place they were allowed to live in the era of the Medicis, the ruling popes and so on, is they didn't want to kill them because they needed them. It's good. It's like fertilizer. They're good for the economy. People like them and they can trade and everything. They could charge interest. The Christians couldn't. So they made fortunes. They were allowed to live in the smoke-filled areas where they used to bake bricks that built buildings. In Italian, that area is called Getta, the Ghetto. The Ghetto is a Jewish term. In World War II in Warsaw, when Jews barricade themselves in an area, it was called the Warsaw Ghetto.
I've always heard that. That's the original. I never knew that.
There is no black ghetto. It's Jews. It's the Jewish ghetto. You're welcome. By the way, in Christianity, all those words, hallelujah, amen, no, those are all Hebrew words. Those are all Jew stuff. And what the Pope wears on top of his head, that's a fucking yarmulke. No, that's ours.
It is a yarmulke.
That's our shit.
Thank you for saying that. It is a yarmulke.
That is our shit.
Yeah, that is your shit. No doubt.
Of course.
So are you your mother's only child?
Yeah.
You are. So is a big part of it for you not wanting to let her down too?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That after the horrible...
I mean, how could you not want to make that woman proud?
I had to. After all she'd been through, totally devoted to me, and I have photos of her all over the place, and her words ring out to me. She was the wisest human being, not just woman, I'd ever encountered, because despite all the hardships, she had this philosophy in Hungarian, the words generally meaning every day above ground is a good day. Because from her perspective, if you had food to eat and you had a roof over your head and nobody was trying to kill you, what the fuck is your problem? You're in heaven. You're safe, you have food in your belly, and you're protected from the seas. What else do you want? The rest is all cream. And I know I sometimes fall into the trap, complaining about bad hair day or traffic jam or, all the things we complain about means nothing.
Nothing.
Try living in Zimbabwe for a week and see how you like it.
So here's a question I wanted to ask you as well.
I never touched her.
Was your mom, how old were you, when your mom passed?
I'll be 76 in 3 weeks, so I must have been 80. I'm sorry, 80. 70. Must have been 60.
All right, so she saw you do what you do.
Oh yeah, I bought her houses and whatever she wants. And my mother.
Did she get a chance to be a grandmom with your kids? Did she get that chance?
No, we're still waiting. Shannon and I, Sophie, who's, by the way, Google Sophie Simmons on Google and Schmoogle, and you'll see hundreds of songs that she's written, produced. She manages, and she's an artist herself. She wrote for Train, Rick Ross, all kinds of people. And do the kids ever ask Dad for opinions? No. And that's what you want. You want your kids to be able to, it's what birds do. Bees do it, birds. You have a nest, and while they're helpless, chirp, 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 the mother bird or the father bird, because they're usually there together, at least for the beginning, then the dad bird flies off to impregnate the next nest. Surprise! Mom feeds the chicks, and then when they get a little bit older, you know what she does? She literally pushes
their ass out,
pushes them off, and the ones that don't survive. You're forced. So, in a very real way, neither Nick nor Sophie ever got what is it called? Allowances. Where you give your kids money for nothing. No. You want money? You got to do something, do this. I don't know, mow the lawn, clean this, do that, do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you understand the value of it. And then you don't have to say thank you. You don't owe anybody money. You trade the love of labor. If you can get that into the thick skulls of what's the new Generation X? What is it?
No, hell no. I'm X. I don't know what they are. Gen Z, millennials. I don't
Generation
know what the
fucked up. The entitled generation. Because if you go through your whole life getting your palm greased, which used to mean you get money for nothing, when you turn 18 or 20, whenever it is that you're on your own, you get entitled. Hey, I deserve health care. No, actually, you don't.
Well, also, every answer's right here. You don't need to go find shit out anymore. There's no more arguments and disagreements to go find.
Yeah, it's all free, all knowledge.
Instant.
And it's up to you. You have an inferred fiduciary duty or an inferred duty to yourself to figure out what the right thing is, to figure out where the right place is, and to figure out when the right time is. Right thing, right place, right time. I mean, when I was born, my mother used to chew my food for me. I didn't have a tooth in my skull, and there was no such thing as baby food in a new country, Israel. There's no baby food. It was just, and little babies, no teeth, their moms used to chew their food so they can get protein and everything, and fruit and whatever. I know it sounds, but that's what, before the American system of baby food came in, mothers and fathers in the 1800s would chew their food just like birds, whatever, for their kids. I know it sounds like, what? But think about it. So, and when I was born, I know for a fact, I just used to shit whenever I wanted to. Somebody wipes up my shit. Somebody chews my food. I'm set. I can cry whenever I want. It's like, this is the best thing. And then one day it stopped. Hey, so who's going to wipe my shit? Who's going to chew my food? And then you have to do it. And the sooner your kids, or anybody's kids that you care about, the sooner they learn to be self-sufficient, the more good citizens they'll be.
So let me ask you this. I say this all the time sitting across from people. My grandfather's generation fought in World War II. My father, Vietnam.
The great generation. I urge anybody who's got a computer, which is most people, look up Sergeant Urban. He was almost 101. I was invited by the Washington, D.C., by the vet organization to be in the parade because I love the American military and I'll do whatever. I spoke at the Pentagon at the behest of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Yes, I did.
That's awesome.
In the year where almost nobody got up on that stage, right there in the Pentagon and the podium and everything. I wasn't talking politics. I was talking about this is a volunteer military force. We talk all the time about everything except the people who volunteer to keep you safe. Right now, somebody's dying overseas so that you can complain about stuff.
So we can sit and do this.
It makes me furious.
Yes.
So
real quick, then my generation comes along and I'm like, I want to be a clown. And these men are like, what the fuck are you talking about? When you decided to go into music, was mom supportive of that, or was she worried, or did she want you to have an education?
Jews make deals.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear the deal mom made with you.
By the way, do you have cash on you?
I don't now.
Well, some.
Yeah.
Would you give me 2 tenths for a 5?
No.
That's good, because most people start doing that. The audience are going 2 tens for a 5. That doesn't mean they're just used to the pattern.
Yeah.
What was your question?
My question was, mom supportive when you said, hey, I know you come from this. I want to go do this.
We made a deal. Mm-hmm. She, in essence, said, wonderful in her Hungarian accent, but if it's no good, if you can't make money, it's like, what's your fallback position? And that's a valid question.
It is.
Because a lot of the entertainment industry, comedians, actors, I don't know, you throw caution to the wind. and that's the only thing you do because it's your passion. I mean, that's fine. But pragmatism isn't just a big word like gymnasium. It means you will win if you have a fallback position. So I made a deal with my mother. I'm going to get a degree I paid for my own college. I took out a bank loan and paid it off myself and got a teaching degree, Bachelor of Arts in Education, so I could teach sixth grade. But before then, I was the assistant to the director of the Puerto Rican Interagency Council, a government-funded research and demonstration project. I was the assistant to the editor of Vogue magazine, did a lot of stuff, and amassed, in the days when $23,000 was a lot of money. By the time I was 23, I saved $23,000 after tax. So that was a lot in those days. Today, it would be 10 times. So 250, that means you'd have to earn 500,000 to serve 250 at the highest tax rate. At any rate, people are going, what? What is he talking about? You better learn this because they don't teach it in school.
They sure don't.
You don't learn. That's why I've written business books. I wrote Me Inc., Power, and a few other books about business, which is you don't learn what capitalism is. You don't learn in school. What are taxes? Should I get married? What's the cost of marriage? When the statistics tell us you will get divorced. Yep. That's what it says. Mm-hmm. And then when or if that happens, how much do you have to pay? Well, the person you just met, usually male, heterosexual, cis. Man, I fucking hate that cis shit.
Please don't say that.
Because when I was growing up, sissy wasn't the word.
Yeah.
But straight men who marry straight women, if you get divorced, you're going to pay somebody you just met even before you pay tax, you're going to pay this bitch 50% gross pre-tax dollars. If your mother took you to court, she just wants 1% because I gave you life, she'd be thrown out of court. That's your mother who raised you and gave you life. But somebody you just met and spent a few years with, you say, this is not working, thanks very much. She will take half of the best. I've said this before, and it's not a judgment call. I don't say this because you're a good person or a bad person, just a statement of fact. The smartest job in Western culture, on the face of the planet, in Western culture, is to be a woman, whether you're straight or not, get married and divorced as many times as before you drop dead. Because every time you get divorced, they're non-cross collateralized. You can continue to take 50% before they pay tax, before the government takes their 50%. You can take all that money right in your pocket.
I had no idea
tax.
It was like that. I didn't know you could keep doing that. But also, if you laid that out on...
You know why men die younger than women?
Why?
Because they fucking want to. It's a joke. It's a joke. You have to have a joke. These are just jokes. Don't get upset.
It is a horrible business proposal. If you laid it out statistically like that, the majority of people would be like, no way.
I figured out a long time ago with Shannon, who I've married twice. I worship the ground she walks on, and I will marry her again because she's a better human being than I will ever be. She really is. Smarter in ways that you don't learn in school. But I learned a long time ago, it works better if I wake up in the morning and I say, the first words are, I'm sorry. And then the rest of the day, it just gets better. No matter, it's raining, whatever, my fault.
So when does mom realize, okay, he did it. He went after this thing and he did it. What was the moment, not for you, but for her?
Well, I started teaching sixth grade in Spanish Harlem, but within 6 months, the band took off. We recorded a record, and so I'd got my degree. I actually started teaching. My mother saw that I had the fallback position. And by the way, I saved all the money because I lived at home. That's how you know Jesus was Jewish. He lived with his mother until he was 33 years old. He actually believed his mother was a virgin.
Yeah, he's the only one.
And she thought he was God.
Yeah.
And then he went into his father's business. That's a These are jokes, but true, by the way. So the band took off, and within a year and a half, before MTV, before even no cell phones, it was still Superman. When he wanted to become Superman, would go into this little cubicle on the street.
Phone booth, yeah.
Kids have no idea what a phone booth.
Yeah,
what do you
you're
mean?
Right about that.
Rotary things, and you got to put. And of course, while he's changing clothes to be Superman, nobody can see that.
These days, Superman wouldn't have a place to change. Didn't even think of that.
Depends if it's a they, them, or a he, she. By the way, the sad part about they, them, which I fully support, I go on record all the time. I don't care how you define yourself, is if you go to certain parts of the Middle East, and if you define yourself as they, them, you're going to be was, were. Sad but true. They will not. Yeah. They don't care about your definition. They will kill you. Don't go there. I don't care what your political persuasion is. But you can't go to Israel. They won't. It's like, be whatever you want. I win.
So when mom realizes.
So within a year and a half of starting, we're headlining Anaheim Stadium in California, above
that fast,
bands that had been around for a long time, started playing stadiums by 75, 76.
God.
And then by 1977, 78, and 79, there used to be a thing called the Gallup poll.
Mm-hmm.
And they would randomly go across the country. What's your favorite food? What's your favorite this? And for 3 years in a row, Kiss was the number one band in the world per people. 2 was either Zeppelin or the Beatles, depending on, then it was the Bee Gees and all the other bands. 3 years in a row. We were I don't know how to say this without sounding like I'm self-aggrandizing. We were making so much money so fast in the days when bands would just make money off of ticket sales and T-shirts. We had 24-hour warehouses in the valley because inside the albums we'd have order forms. You could stick in your $5, $10, or $15 before people used to open up your mail and click off the color pictures of the T-shirt or the thing you wanted, put cash in, and they would come in. So 24 hours a day, we had a staff in the valley that would fulfill these things. Like before there was Amazon, we were doing that.
Wow.
Yeah. And we had, we did our own market research. We love our fans, just wanted to get to know you more. Where do you live, in the city or the country, urban, suburban? Are you male, female? In the days when people used to ask, are you male, female? Now there's a host of different life forms. And good luck to you. You're all going to die anyway. So while you're traveling, figure out what makes you happy. I'm totally for it. Just don't put it in my fucking face.
Amen.
But laissez-faire, I fully support anybody with any lifestyle. Don't bring it into my house.
Live and be well, far the fuck away from me.
Yeah. And I won't bring my shit into your house. It's so simple. Good fences make good neighbors. So we wanted to know who they were, how old, male, female, and all this kind of stuff. And we learned things. About 60% male, 40% female, surprisingly.
Me too. I'm surprised by
in that area. Yeah. And that the most important magazine was Sports Illustrated, which we didn't know. Yeah. Ask the people. They will tell you. What else?
For me, what else I want to ask you? Were you able to have conversations with your mom about finally passing, or was it a sudden thing?
I was with her till the very end. I held her hand, and I sang the Hungarian songs that she used to sing to me when I was a kid. Ozo szép, akinek a szeme kék, akinek a szeme fekete. It's a Hungarian song about trying to make Hungarian women feel more beautiful because they had dark eyes, because they're remnants of the Mongols. Did you know that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, the Hungarians, they were 4 different types of Attila the Hun, Hungarian. There were the Mongols, the Huns, the Tatars, and the one other. And when they came to Europe, rape and pillage was a Mongol idea. They killed everything in front, killed all the males, kept the females so they could wash and make children, and burned everything in back of them so that the people that they conquered couldn't rebuild. They burned the crops and killed all the male children, took the females. That's what Hitler wound up copying, the Mongol invasion process, rape and pillage. So
you sang to her.
Sorry?
You sang to her. You were singing to her, and you
so
got
the
to spend
Hungarian
time with
women, she is beautiful. She who has blue eyes is beautiful. She who has blue eyes is beautiful. She who has blue eyes is beautiful. She who has dark eyes, or black eyes, is beautiful, because Hungarian women. So the way you sang it is also simple. Okineko semekeko, kineko semefeketa. They would all scream that and pick up the women, and just kind of go, yeah. And she used to sing me, Vonnekem ezelet ostochilogom. I have one life, and I see the one star in the heavens, sort of, that has your name on it, and I wish I could reach that star and bring it to you. I don't know how else to translate that, but she, like all mothers, you wish the best for your child. Oh, she was an amazing. If there's a good side to me,
it's her.
It's all my mother.
I love hearing that.
All mothers just get a raw deal. Without mothers, would be killing and fucking each other, or worse.
Worse.
Yeah, it's mothers who the cornerstone of civilization.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I don't understand how. Maybe there's some truth that the guys that raise their hand towards women, I'm guessing it's not scientific evidence that I have, but maybe there is some, must have been treated badly as children. Because if you had a loving mother who was there, nurtured, there is nurture and nature, but if you had nurture throughout your life, how could you raise your hand at another female who's going to be the mother of another child? How would you do that?
This has been a great episode. I can't thank you enough for coming on and doing
$5.
this. I got you. Don't worry. One question I'd like to ask to wrap up. Advice you'd give to 16-year-old Gene Simmons. Curious what you would tell that kid.
To myself at 16.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say I wouldn't change a thing, because I remember having the mindset of not having a father figure around, and my mother was always working at a sweat factory. No minimum wage, no nothing, 6 days a week. And 7 a.m. till 7 p.m.
That's great. At 12 hours.
I used to go in the summer months when I didn't go to school because you had summer vacation. I'd take the hot 100-degree subways with my mother at the crack of dawn to go into the sweat factory, which was a fire trap. These, old wooden places in the backwoods of Brooklyn where nobody cared about, like in ghettos, black ghetto, African-American ghettos, and this old fire trap, and there'd be Jews in there making, winter coats and things like that, trying to etch a living. My mother used to make half a penny per button of winter coats. So you'd have to take a winter coat off the rack and then line up the button holes on the desk with a white pencil and put a marker, and then put the button into the sewing machine and sew on the button into each of those things.
Half a penny.
And then reconnect the things and then hang it up on the other side. So if it had 6 buttons, you make 6 I'm sorry,
3
3
cents.
cents. 3 cents
Jesus.
after all that stuff. Yeah.
I love it.
And so she taught me the value of money. It's interesting. Different cultures think of money in different ways. If you're not Jewish, per Benjamin Franklin, a penny saved is a penny earned. By the way, now a penny saved is 2 pennies earned.
Yeah, you're damn right.
Because that was before tax, before America had taxes, federal included. So if you're not Jewish, it's called, people say, oh, you're frugal. If you're Jewish, you're fucking cheap.
I just taught my daughter frugal the other day, and now I'm going to tell her that.
When somebody says I'm cheap, I say, thank you. I'm smart, bitch. I'll see you at the end. And revenge for all the people that had something to say about you and about you, best revenge is to have them work for you. That's the best revenge.
Yeah.
Keep your nose right on the grindstone. Work hard. Work harder than your next door neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
Amass your fortune, whatever that is. And living well is the best revenge. I have met, the athletic jock in school who was more popular in school, who, had some chicks. Of course, when he wouldn't look, I'd climb on them anyway. But they all they don't look to the future. It's like right here, right now. I never thought about right here, right now. What am I going to do later? I've got my finances in such order that the next 2 to 3 generations are taken care of.
You sure? Because I always feel like there's just one crackhead that could come in there and fuck it all up for everybody.
No, that's why you have to diversify.
For the crackhead that's going to come in.
No, for there are wars and you never war. So I'm in crypto, real estate, stocks, bonds, futures, commodities.
All right. I can't thank you enough for doing this. Anything you'd like to promote one more time to wrap up?
I have one Jewish joke.
Let's hear it.
What's 12 inches in Jewish?
What?
Nothing. The other answer is me.
Thank you for doing this, brother. I can't thank you enough.
You're doing the right thing. Ask your doctor, and he'll tell you never shake anybody's hand again, ever.
I've been so much. I do my meet and greets or see people on the road. I've started fist bumping. I've been sick barely ever.
Me too. That's right. I don't get sick. Especially in the time of COVID or blah, 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 and
for
all
sure.
that.
That's when I really started.
Before they meet you, they're scratching their ass. And all that.
Yeah.
By the way, Middle Easterners, Arabs, more would have 2 different philosophies. If you went into an Arab household, you went into a kid and say, "Hey, how are you? Nice to see you." With the left hand, you would be cursed, possibly violent, because with your left hand, you wipe your ass. That's the unclean hand.
Yeah.
The right hand is for eating before forks and knives. We still have that philosophy. You're a southpaw, like bestiality.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a left-handed thing, that's considered evil, right? You're on the right side of the law. That's your right hand. Yeah, right is still right. Makes right. Right isn't just your right hand. It means justice, right? Left. That's a left-handed compliment. Yeah.
Yeah.
You learn stuff.
I learned more on this episode than I ever did in any social studies class or history class.
Where does this southern twang and y'all come from?
I'm from Baltimore, from Maryland.
Oh, that's not a y'all town.
It's a bit of a y'all town. It really is. It's officially
what do you do over there?
It's below the Mason-Dixon line, one of the few states, 3 or 4 that fought in both sides of the war.
Both sides, that's right. Mm-hmm. Even though you didn't have North and South.
True. But you've got that little Harper's Ferry pocket that touches West Virginia,
but that's not
Maryland.
Where they them go. The Harper's Ferry.
They them.
That's not. By the way, it bears noting that through all the wars that America's fought, we lost more Americans because both North and South were Americans fighting and killing each other.
Yeah, I learned that going to Gettysburg. We used to have to take field trips to Gettysburg, and we learned that more people in the Civil War were killed because we're fighting each other than all the other ones. I think combined.
Insane.
That's crazy.
Should have had Jews in there so you can make a deal. You got to make a deal.
Finance us out of that motherfucker.
Mason-Dixon line was with the those two guys, because Lincoln really wanted to push the idea of, African American, they've been here, they've been slaves. That's not really the right thing. It almost made it into the Constitution with the Founding Fathers, except they were all rich because they had slaves.
Mm-hmm.
So morally, they thought, it's not a good idea, but maybe we shouldn't write it in because that's where they made their money. Finally, Lincoln came public and said, you got to do that. But the North was industrialized already. The South was not industrialized. It was all farming. And in fact, England sent boats to prevent the North from getting into the South. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yes. They blockaded it because they wanted the cotton.
The cotton, yeah.
That came from there.
Oh, yeah.
And the only reason the North won is because they could push 50,000 troops one way or the other because they had railroads. In the South, they didn't have, so you could move troops really fast. If you were in my class, you'd be...
Teacher, Mr. Simmons.
By the way,
Were you Mr. Gene or Mr. Simmons? Would you go? Oh, you weren't?
Mr. Klein.
Mr. Klein, then. Mr. Klein, yeah.
By the way, the South still has a stick up their ass about the war.
Yeah.
The South shall rise.
Yeah,
and,
I know. They still really
Yankees
they're
and all
still
that.
upset about it.
Get over it.
They really are upset about it.
Yeah. But you started it.
They still got a shot, though. They still think they got a shot.
Yeah, it's such a... And middle America continues to be a different country than North or South. You would never put on a cowboy hat. Some of my closest friends, Nashville and so on, they espouse a kind of a cultural thing, how you dress, how you talk. You ain't going to do nothing like that thing. And will not acquiesce to the mid-Atlantic, that sound. Although it bears noting, if you go to Mississippi or Alabama, what do you do now? How y'all doing?
When anyone says I sound Southern, I'm like, that's because you've never been there. No,
that you've never been there.
Yeah.
Some parts of Texas. I know President Bush, he knows he says nuclear wrong. He knows he says nuclear.
Nuclear.
He can't stop. But when you watch the news and you listen to them talk, they speak like this.
Mm-hmm.
There ain't no Professor Billy Bob saying, I was going to do about Shakespeare. Nope.
There's some weathermen. They slip in with that kind of shit. The clown. They're the comic relief.
Because that's what I want to do is talk politics with a weatherman. Anyway, I just want to say it was a pleasure to talk to me.
Thank you. It really was a pleasure to talk to you.
This is a very good thing you had here.
You like that? You gave Princess some. I never give her human food, but after you scolded her and taught her what the hierarchy was, I was like, she can have
It wasn't even scolding.
You.
It was their language, because if a smaller dog, goes into and tries to eat a little bit from the bigger dog's bowl, what happens?
That dog's,
the bigger dog one time or bites it one time, and from then on, they get along great. They go, okay, I have to be back here. They just want to know what the rules are, which is in the beginning why there's chaos. That includes your girlfriend. So one of you's got to wear the pants. If you're okay with it, then just wake up in the morning and say, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. As always, Ryan Sickler on all your social media. We'll talk to y'all next week.